Yeah. So you should get some little prompt
Yep. This
saying,
meeting is
"I'm
recorded.
recording
This meeting is
this."
being recorded.
Yeah.
Say, got it.
Click. Got it. How we doing?
None of us are Zoom masters at all. So
Well, this is the
Even
first.
after
I actually
2
had to
years.
download. I had to download Zoom in order to do this.
well, welcome to our world.
Yeah. There are a lot of things that we could talk about. The tribe receiving the Council of Governments Award for everything that you guys are doing, okay, by taking care of West Valley and assuming that responsibility, cutting the response time from 20 minutes to 5, 22,000 vaccines in the area. Those are things that we probably should want people to know because you guys are doing a hell of a job. But you guys can't be everything to everybody. And you guys are in my mind, taking a bad rap, okay, for what they call per capita. I hate that phrase. Okay, timber revenue is per capita revenue. Per capita is what's distributed to everybody, okay, equally. And so when you start talking about per capita, what I think they're talking about is the casino revenue that comes to the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're pulling their per capita from. And I think what a lot of people really need to know, first off, as a 6-year member sitting on the board of directors and as a manager of both environmental services and maintenance, there's a lot of things that you guys are taking heat for that you really have no control over. And one of that, of course, is the budget, the casino budget. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But the reality of it is, let's take a look at last year. Everybody's talking about last year. Now, I don't know what I can say and what I can't say, but let's do this. My 1099 from the tribe, from my per capita, showed me getting about $8,631 for last year. Okay. There's 5,633 members, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're looking at about roughly $48 million distributed per capita. Now, if you take a look at page 4 of the Telecom Wawa, you're going to see what our true revenue for last year was. Can I say it?
It's up to you. I mean, some people get a little squeamish about us throwing out these numbers publicly. I mean, I don't understand that, just because any tribal member can kind of let the cat out of the bag.
Well, like I said, every tribal member's family, every bank that we do banking with, everybody at the casino that cashes our checks, all has us. As a matter of fact, how many copies of the Telecom Wawa went in the garbage, where every garbage man that gets it can actually read it. Page 4 showed our revenue at $117.1 million. So if we divide that 48 million by 117.1, you're going to see, or the tribal members are going to see, that we actually paid 41.5+% of our revenue in per capita to the members. 41.5%, which is well above the 28% that we anticipated. But that was last year.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, we can talk about this year. And one of the things that I saw a couple of members talk about is, well, we made all that money. Okay, we should be getting a good per capita this quarter. And Mike, you can chime in if you want, having been an auditor. Now, they put the projection at about $89 million for this year. Okay. But a lot of people don't understand that that's a dynamic number. That's a projected budget number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we, unfortunately, or fortunately, because it's easier, handle a traditional or incremental budget process. We take a look at what we did last year, we make modifications to it, and we get this year's numbers. So what influenced our great revenue return last year, okay, that we might not see this year? Well, Chinook Winds was shut down for 2 months. That improved our revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, video gaming in the bars shut down. That improved our revenue. The buffet got shut down. That improved our revenue. Okay, we took a little bit of a heat on wages and stuff like that when people decided that they didn't want to work for the casino anymore. That helped. Okay, deferred maintenance, which you don't even want me to start talking about. That helped.
Well, we didn't do that last year. We haven't done that for a number of years.
We haven't done what we, okay, but let's take a look, if you want to, Michael, at supply chain problems.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at at invoices that couldn't be billed to by contractors because they didn't complete the work because of their supply chain issues. That'll probably be changing. So we've got some internal and some external things that made last year a great year through November 31st. But what happened in December, January, and February for this year? Okay, well, let's see. Every tribal member or every employee of the casino received a bonus. Every member of the casino received a raise. Okay, we eliminated the marketing department, so we had to pay out a certain amount probably to them to be able to buy out contracts and stuff like that, severance packages. Okay, so we've got all of these things that, and maintenance, because now we got to start taking care of the things that we haven't taken care of before, and we have the supply chain issues and some other things. So we figured, okay, with those kinds of changes, maybe around 89 million. But you don't take 89 million, divide it by 12 and say, this is what you're going to get in revenue every month. It doesn't work that way. Okay. December is typically a terrible month for revenue. January is a short time following. February may or may not be good. Okay. March's per capita that we got, okay, was a product of December, January, and February, when all of those changes, okay, needed to be able to take place. So, and typically, okay, the revenue projections coming over from the casino to the tribe are going to be a little bit lower in January, February, March. Now, I can understand what tribal council does when they see a poor revenue base for the first quarter. They go, oh crap, the members aren't going to be happy. If I can say that, they're going to say, how are we going to be able to resolve that issue? Well, I got an idea. Let's pull from the gaming reserve and get that up to $1,000 so they can make it work. Okay. But you guys didn't have any contribution realistically to what the casino does. Okay, you don't. That's the casino directors that present that revenue to you and their finance and their audit department. Am I correct?
Well, and not only that, if you go to the updates, the general council meetings that Bruce gave, he says right there in those, we cannot expect the same numbers for 2022. We expect a return to the normal. And that's really what's happened. So although the per cap didn't, the $1,000 that people are talking about, we actually, the casino itself, they hit the numbers that they budgeted for those 3 months. They're just some of the lower lying 3 months of the year. They don't ever perform as well. So even though it's lower, they actually beat their projections by, I think, over $500,000. So it's not, they did what they expected to do. Despite the members maybe being a little bit disappointed about it, that is exactly what the casino actually expected to do.
Right. I appreciate the casino doing that. Now, when I was there many, many years ago, okay, we were always concerned about how tribal council would react to a poor revenue month. Okay, and we would actually talk, if I can say this, what if we just held back on an invoice for a month and didn't pay it so our revenue would be higher? Michael shaking his head, don't say that. Okay, but the reality of it is there are things going on, okay, that you guys have no control over.
Well, I don't mind that you say it. It's just a really bad practice.
It is a bad practice. Okay, but you got to take a look at some of our past CEOs. They weren't really, and I'm not going to say that. Bruce is here and Bruce is good. And I think he's going to do great. I really, really do. The thing that I want to really stress on per capita is you guys are taking the heat for a lot of crap that's not your fault. Okay, and that to me is the thing that I really want to drive home. Okay, and if I can say this, the war in Ukraine has screwed us just a little bit. Okay, I went to the casino today after my doctor's appointment, and I got gas at a whoppingly low rate of $4.09. $4.09.
Where was that?
That was at our gas station.
Okay.
Everybody else had to pay $4.39, $4.49, $4.59. I went down to the coast 3 days ago, $4.89.
Yeah.
And this is just a tip of the ice cube. Okay, we're going to start taking a look at a lot of prices going up, and that's going to slow revenue at the casino, because when people got to pay more for gas, more for groceries, more for living, and that type of thing, and you want to start taking a look at the moratorium ending on rent relief. Okay, I really, in my mind, okay, I have a tendency to balk at $89 million in revenue. That's me, nobody else. Okay, and let's see how that goes out. But you guys are going to have to be ready to take the heat on a lot of crap that's not your fault. I mean, Michael, I know you were the one that talked Putin into going into the Ukraine. I know that, you know, you can't lie about it,
It was.
you know, and Abramovich losing his yachts.
So let me just say that taking the heat is part of this job, and it's some things are within our control, some things are out of our control, but no matter what, elected officials are always going to take heat for what's going on around them. So I think when you take this position, you just have to be prepared to do that. It just comes no matter what. I guess one of the things that I was hoping to talk about is I believe it was almost 15 years ago this year that we transitioned to the quarterly distributions of per capita. And if you, because I think it was 2007. And so you guys might remember, I'm sure you remember that it was almost like this ritual of the annual per capita distribution. And, you know, I worked at Smoke Signals, you know, phone lines just start getting blown up about what the single distribution is. So I guess now, you know, the heat, if you want to call it that, gets spread out 4 times a year as opposed to in the past and past when it was just in December. So I guess one of the things I want to ask is, how do you guys feel? Because you obviously weren't on council when we transitioned to that quarterly distribution, Michael. So do you guys feel that going to the quarterly distribution has been better, or because every now and then we'll hear murmurings from our tribal members some of whom feel that we should go back to the single year distribution. And I like the 4 time a year distribution, but I'm just curious if people have differing opinions.
So I have 2 different versions for my opinion. So younger me with the kids and the financial pressures, that switch to it being quarterly, it would come at some of the best times where we really needed that supplement. So I like that part of it. But I also love the kind of like the annual pilgrimage back home that per capita on an annual basis brought. I mean, it was almost like powwow. You would see all your relatives, you'd see friends, and it was really fun to come here and take part in that. And generally, it was a really festive move. I don't remember people complaining back then about the per cap, because sometimes, you know, it was $5,000 or so, and everybody was like, yes, Christmas, and it was a big amount, and it was a good time to just see everybody and share. But boy, that quarterly, when bills are tight and you've got the kids, it's nice having it come around quarterly.
And Lou?
Me, I think that we should stay quarterly. I think that quarterly was a good idea. And the grim reality, Chris, is you can't go backwards. You can't tell 5,000 people that you're going to go back to giving it to them once a year when they're used to getting it every 3 months. I've been blessed. I didn't care whether I got it or not. I mean, I like it and I appreciate it, but I'm not one of the individuals that need it. So to me, it's a whole different world than those individuals that are struggling month to month, trying to be able to make their bills. But I think that we just hold tight on the quarterly and keep it that way. That's the best way to be able to do it, because that's what people are expecting. You know, hopefully what we'll be able to do over the years is increase our profit margins at the casino, okay, and distribute a larger quarterly. Now, one thing that I think is great is that I believe Tribal Council is now going to a true time revenue-based per capita payout, where you set it at 28%, that quarter, you get 28% of whatever it is, okay? Instead of a time when what we did was we paid $1,000 for the first 3 quarters and you got what you got the last quarter, okay? Which to me is a very, very dangerous thing to do, okay? If you keep it real time, okay, and distribute that quarterly paycheck or that quarterly per capita, okay, at a percentage that you guys set, that's the best thing that you can do. You know, we got to stop. We have to stop lying to the membership. And I'm not saying that you guys are doing it, Okay, but anytime you falsify a per capita amount, or anytime you pull from your gaming reserve to be able to placate the members, okay, you put yourself in danger. I don't like that.
So, okay, so you're preaching to the choir, at least with Michael, because he's very adamant about speaking to that percentage. And I'm on the, I don't necessarily hold the same view as him. I think when people get their per capita checks, they're happy with the amount. And you're right, we made a practice of doing it. You know, we tried to shoot for $1,000 every quarter. I think that matters more to tribal members. I don't know very many tribal members who, when they get their per capita check, say, "Hey, wait a minute, this isn't 28% or whatever." You know, I feel that more people focus on the amount they get, and I think it's a small percentage of tribal members that worry about the percentage. That's just my perception. Maybe if we did a poll, I'm dead wrong, but I think people, they focus on the amount, not the percentage.
And I understand they focus on the amount, and there are relatively few. My concern is not the amount or even the percentage. My concern is real-time revenue distribution. If you have it, you know, if this was any other corporation in the world, and you had to distribute revenue shares, okay, to your members, they would get what you made. Okay, it wouldn't be escalated, it wouldn't be increased, it wouldn't be decreased. This is what you generated. This is the percentage that you get. Okay, and because what's going to happen if you give out revenue, okay, if you borrow from your reserve or whatever to give members more money to be able to do that, and something catastrophic happens, and we have to pull that revenue for some other problem or some other source, and now you don't have it. Okay, you know, then you guys are going to have to try to be able to explain why you did what you did instead of just being honest.
So,
Yeah.
So you feel that, so per capita, and I think you and I had an online discussion. This even like predates Facebook, Lou. I think it was on Grand Ronde Online. You remember that website?
I do.
Before Facebook took over all the different tribal forums and became the host for all the tribal forums. And I believe our discussion centered around per capita is supposed to reflect the financial health of our casino and to a lesser degree our tribe, but it's supposed to reflect, you know, the financial power of the casino. And you feel that by kind of supplementing it or deviating from a fixed percentage, we're not accurately disseminating what the health of the casino is.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that,
Hey, Chris, that's pretty good.
That's good.
I thought Chris summed that up really well. So I do like that percentage, and whatever is budgeted, I like to put out. So we were able to do that in 2021 because it came in so high. It's pretty easy to say, hey, it came in at $1,500. That's even $500 more than that 1,000 that you're all used to. And I like that, the idea that it kind of gives you a gauge how the casino is going. Because one of the things that some people don't understand is this is the dividend coming over to the tribe, and we don't take anything out from it programming wise to lessen the amount that the percentage is going to be applied to. Whatever comes over, that percentage is applied to it first before the others. So a lot of people think that there's other things that we're taking out of it before we get to that number, but that's not true. It's a flat 28% or 25%, whatever even members want to decide. Initially, when it was first set up, it was 25%. And I believe that happened for 4 years before we changed that. But I've always felt that come December, that I don't hold so fast that 28%. If you're having an extraordinary year, I think it is good. We've already made our budget that we needed to meet, and there's still money. I think then at that point, I'm okay with paying a little bit more than 28% and kind of seeing where your gaming reserves are and making sure that's all where you want them to be going forward for those reasons that you said, Lou, for the rainy day type scenario, which did come into play when COVID hit. It was really nice that we knew we had not just all our endowments in place, but an extra reserve for an emergency fund for just that kind of scenario that happened. The casino shut down. We ended up not really having to use it. We were able to use some of the federal money and the short-term loan to get us there. But still, it was nice to have, and we were in much better shape than a lot of other tribes as a result. I like the flat percentage. That is kind of what I would like to go to. But I also think that fourth quarter, that's when you could change a little bit from that strategy.
Yeah, if you've met all of your obligations and you got the money left over, give them the dividend. Sure, absolutely. And that's a plus. That's what we should do.
Well, go ahead and finish your thought. I wanted to pose another question.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so over the past couple of years, we've started these new grants, and they were originally sort of centered around COVID, but we're moving forward with them, like, the tech grant, fitness grant, healthy eating grant. We now have the emergency preparedness and alternative energy grant, either or. It's one grant. I think you got to choose. And we're hoping to eventually develop some policies around the grant surrounding the e-readers. So do you feel that these grants are money well spent, or should we just take the money we're spending on those grants and just throw it into per capita and allow members to spend it as they see fit? My own view, and I probably shouldn't say this after just posing a question to you guys, is I like these new grants we're doing. We're promoting certain lifestyle changes within our members. And if members don't want to make those changes, they don't have to access those grants. But, literacy, like with the e-readers, fitness and health, in terms of like certain metrics, tribal people are among, are at the greatest disadvantage in terms of obesity, diabetes. So Native Americans in general have a lot of health problems that I think, and I don't know how much that is reflected in our actual population, but I don't see the harm in us doing these grants that promote tribal members seeking to be healthier and seeking to be fitter.
Well, if I can start, first off, I'm a firm believer in the grants. Okay, because the grant requires me to be able to select a specific area. Now, the last 3 grants that just came out, $300 for emergency preparedness and energy, $300 for food preservation and those types of things, and $300 for health. Okay, I will utilize all of them. Okay, now I am an individual that likes a lot of food rotation. Okay, I have a good stock supply. If I can improve that stock supply to be able to improve my family's position in self-sufficiency, I'm going to do that. If I can improve, like we're getting a wheat grinder. Our old wheat grinder is 35 years old. Okay, so now I'm getting one that's more efficient and stuff like that because we do a lot of our own wheat grinding. Okay, I'm old, Chris. I'm old to be your guys'
All
dad.
3 of us are old.
Oh, not even close.
I'm the least old.
Okay. Yeah. And so I have a lot of health issues that need to be, as I said, in October 7th of last year, I was hit by a truck in Lafayette while I was flagging. Okay. Tore out my leg, tore out my ribs, did some damage to me. And while I've got, everything that I can do, the tribe is giving me an opportunity to be able to get a pulse massager. Okay. And air filters for my wife through that health grant. Okay. Something that we wanted to be able to do, but we haven't done. So what this does is the grants force me to think about what I want. It's not, I'm going to get a TV set, or I'm going to get a new stereo, or I'm going to get, something to put in my car. It's, I've got this money for this specific thing. What can I do to be able to get it? It forces me to think about how I'm going to be able to benefit my family. So I'm all for you saying, okay, here's a grant. We're going to designate it for this.
Yeah. Well, and Chris is probably can guess my answer. I'm for it because it keeps us out of the taxing and the 1099s being issued. So that saves us 30%. Instead of that money, 30% of it going to the federal or state governments, it's directly going to the people, and nobody's taking anything out of it. And I think there's even more ways that we can do this that benefit everybody, just like these probably do. So it's not really, we shouldn't think of it as losing per cap as a result. It's really increasing the amount that goes to the members by 30% because it won't be taxed. So I really like it. I think these are good programs and I want to continue them.
So what did you guys spend your grants on? I did a total knucklehead move. I never got any of the grants last year. And then that December 15th date passed by and I was out of luck. But I'm gonna try and use them this year. But I'm just curious, what did you guys like the fitness? What did you guys do with the fitness grant?
So
Go ahead.
the same thing. I'm going to use it for a Fitbit, a Sense, for my watch, because it really tracks your things. And for me, it's a motivating. Of course, I'm a numbers guy, so I like to see what I'm actually spending in calories. I like to count what I'm eating. So, and now they do so much. They tell you about your sleep, everything. So for fitness, that's what I'm going to use mine for. I really like the preparedness, and I think I'm going to try and get a solar generator and some solar panels. That's what I'm going to use that for. And I'm going to have to supplement because it looks like it's going to be more than $300, but still it makes it where it's affordable, which is, I think that's just as important. Might not cover everything that I want, but it puts it in the ballpark where now it's affordable.
Okay. Well, and me, again, the fitness, because of my health, I need things that are going to be able to assist me in just easy living. So a pulse massager through fitness and the air filters, the HEPA air filters to be able to clean because of my asthma. Okay, those is what's helping me. And the fact that I have that flexibility with that grant, it's not cut and dried. You got to buy an exercise thing, you got to buy a Fitbit. Some people are buying Oculus Quests.
Mhm.
If you've ever used those are great fitness items too. So I think that's where the flexibility comes in, and that's where I'm spending my money on fitness. And like I said, with the food, I'm getting myself a wheat grinder, and that's something that we really need because we do a lot of home cooking.
So a wheat grinder. So you actually buy like your own bushels of, I mean, I don't know, maybe you grow them.
Okay.
You somehow get your own bushels of wheat and you thresh them and then.
Well, I buy wheat grain.
Grain.
Okay. All right. I'm, for those of you that don't know, everybody does, I'm a Latter-day Saint. I'm a firm believer in food supplementation and storage and
Okay.
rotation. So, I've got 1,000 pounds of wheat, that I grind and rotate my stock and that type of thing. And don't look that way, Chris. It's not a bad thing.
Well, no,
It's
I've never met someone who
Mhm.
did this. Like I might have met an Amish person, years ago, or maybe in my travels, but it's great. Great.
Well,
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but so like, what do you grind? Like you make flour or?
Oh yeah, cracked wheat
Okay.
for soup, cracked barley,
Okay.
flour, rice. It's not just wheat. It's a wheat grinder, but it grinds everything.
Well, that's
Okay.
really cool.
Yeah.
So
I
you make
remember.
pasta?
Huh?
You make your own pasta?
We can, yes. We got pasta
Yeah.
makers. I remember a managers meeting one time where Pete Wakeland, we were in a meeting and Pete Wakeland says, if anything ever happens, I'm going to Lou's house.
Yeah.
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 And that's fine. I like being able to help people that way. It's just like generators. People are buying generators. Well, I've got generators in my house. When we had that ice storm in Dallas, I fed, 3 neighbors with generator power so they could keep their freezers working and that type of thing. So you have an opportunity to be able to help individuals, okay, by utilizing these things. We got 72-hour kits, we've got first aid kits, we've got everything that we can possibly need. And this, again, these grants just supplement that much better. I think we're doing a great job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from what I've been told, more people are using them. Surprisingly, there's still quite a few people that don't know about them. And so we've been making efforts to make it known because I think we got the numbers on those. And I know we had like over, you might know better than I, Michael, because you like data. We had over like what, 1,200, 1,500, I think,
Yeah.
between all the different grants, which is good. Don't get me wrong, but I honestly would have thought it was going to be higher. But then again, I'm also one of the people that didn't access any of them. So, anyway, well, so I'm a cheapo and I haven't sprung for like the professional grade Zoom. I'm still using the free version. So you can see that the clock's ticking. I'm sure you guys can see that as well, right?
Yeah.
But this
Well,
has been a good discussion.
Is there any other questions you can ask me in parting that I might be able to answer? Have I answered the questions that you feel are comfortable? Have I screwed
I might have
anybody?
to go back and see what I asked again. This is the longest Zoom I've done. So
Yeah, no, I think you did a pretty good job of addressing some things. And, what I like is we can do these things again. So we don't have to do them just one time.
Yeah, I'm up for it anytime you guys want.
okay, that works. Well, thank
All right.
you for joining us.
Thanks
Thanks,
for
Lou.
having me. Take
All right.
care.
All right,
Yeah.
bye.